Don't you always want to be the best you can be?
The Frankie Boyer Show.
What is this?
It's more than a lifestyle show. It's a show about living in today's world.
I think something is happening.
Frankie enthusiastically brings an amazing eclectic mix to the airwaves.
You got that right.
One of the reasons she's earned legions of loyal fans is very simple. When you listen to the Frankie Boyer Show, you just never know what's going to happen next. So listen for yourself. Here is Frankie Boyer.
And it is so nice to have you with us today on Biz Talk Radio. It is an amazing story, our first guest, a story that is so inspiring, but it also beckons the question, how old is too young or too old to be playing football? And I know that I was watching an interview this morning on one of the morning shows with Roger Goodell talking about the settlement for head injuries and concussions. It is, it's a decision that a young man, Chris Borland, last month walked away from a very, very promising career in the NFL. He's 24, and he said it wasn't worth it. But Victor Wright was about 15 years old in 1976 when he was injured while playing football in Pasadena. The injury severed his vertebrae and left him a quadriplegic. But despite his challenges, he went on to get a college degree and co-founded a nonprofit organization that provides relief efforts to victims of natural disasters around the world. And the book that he wrote is The Right Stuff, a story of perseverance, inspiration, and hope. Joining us today is David Rutherford. And David, you are really helping tell this story. It's a very complicated story, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Frankie. We've been friends since about fourth grade. But
Victor.
Yeah, and we never really attended classes together, although we went to the same schools. But when the injury occurred, it was the start, really, of a lifelong friendship that has, failed to cease to amaze me in terms of the things that he's been able to accomplish despite not being able to move a muscle from the neck down.
How old is Victor today?
We are both 54.
Yeah.
So he has been a quadriplegic for 39 years.
That unto itself is pretty amazing.
Yes, and statistics show that the longevity of quadriplegics typically is around 12 to 15 years, and but with proper treatment and care, and the advancement of medical technology, it's possible for people to live well into 40, 50 years beyond their injury.
It's really unbelievable. How is he doing? What's his mental and physical state today? He must be very tired and weary.
Well, physically, he has the same challenges that he's had all along. He has to go to the hospital every now and then for treatment for bed sores and things that are typical of what quadriplegics will go through. But mentally, he's as solid as a rock. I mean, he has a heart, he has a mind, he has a soul, and he's put those to maximum effort. He's, as you said, founded a nonprofit charity, which, as we are speaking, is addressing the tragedy in Nepal and Kathmandu.
Yes,
with the earthquake and avalanche killed all those people. He also is an ordained minister, and as you said, he earned a college degree, one of the first quadriplegics to earn a college degree, which took him 10 years, really, because of his situation. But there was a program at Los Angeles City College for people with disabilities that allowed him to do that.
Talk to me, if you wouldn't mind, about his life and his schedule and his routine. He obviously needs a lot of support to do the life he has.
That's correct. He relies on others for pretty much everything, to eat, to be clothed, bathed, get him around. He still is fairly functional and attends public events. He's been to all of our class reunions. He also was inducted to our high school's Hall of Fame. He regularly attends those ceremonies, John Muir High School in Pasadena. And, despite that, he his calling in life since the injury has been to help others. And so he spends a lot of time with his charity, working on ways to help others in need. In the case of the earthquake and, the one in Haiti, as well as the tsunami back in 2004, that organization mobilizes itself to provide assistance, things like, bottled water and blankets, other emergency services, as well as books and other types of educational supplies to children who have lost their parents in natural disasters. So he spends a lot of time with the organization. He loves his school, and he's still very much involved with a lot of our activities.
Isn't that wonderful? So, David, is it too young to start getting kids so involved in football at such an early age? And there's a famous doctor, Dr. Daniel Amen, who does a lot of the PBS and has written numerous books about the brain. He looks at his research, and he said, football and soccer are two activities that I would, as a parent, would absolutely encourage your kids to take up ping pong. And he says it tongue-in-cheek, but he's serious. It's just not what he would recommend. It's very hard to say to a child not to be physical, not to get out there, not to play these team sports when they are such a part of our thread. Football is the most popular sport in this country.
You're absolutely right. And, short of death, certainly Victor's case could be the worst case scenario in terms of the outcomes of a sports injury. We've talked about this a lot, and this is not a new subject, but over time, athletes have become bigger, faster, stronger, and, it does beg the question, should parents allow their kids to play high school football? And, I've talked to Victor about this quite a bit, and his opinion is yes, under certain conditions. First of all, as you say, kids must want to do it for themselves. There must be a burning desire in their hearts. As a child, he often got hurt because he was playing with older kids, but he loved to play the game, and ever since seeing O.J. Simpson in the 1969 Rose Bowl game, right after he won the Heisman Trophy, his goal was to perform well in high school so that he could go to Tailback U, USC, and have a chance to play pro football. And I'm sure that's, the dream of many other athletes that participate in these youth sports. Precautions have to be taken by all parties, players, coaches, parents, and schools, to maximize their safety. Players need to be protected, both physically and financially, in the case of a catastrophic injury. And back in 1976, there were no 9/11 emergency services, none of the types of medical technology that can reduce the risk of swelling that there are today. And that was the big problem with him, is that the swelling as a result of the injury resulted in paralysis and eventually the immobility.
There's been some very exciting work where they're creating a frozen state to the body and then slowly bringing it back and helping with the inflammation and helping with the chronic injuries in football. And hockey and some of the other sports, and that's a new technique. So it's very exciting, and there's a lot that's happened. But I think for the issue, Victor has put it beautifully in his new book, and the book is now available. What is the best website for people to find out more about Victor Wright's book?
The Right Stuff, A Story of Perseverance, Inspiration, and Hope is available at authorhouse.com. It's also on amazon.com and barnesandnoble.com. In addition to the softcover, you can purchase it in ebook and audiobook format.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David Rutherford, for all that you do and for helping Victor and to get the story out, and we appreciate it. We'll be right back. It's Frankie Boyer.